Hello, I'm Chris, guitar teacher from the north of England. We're going to blow your mind today. This is one of the greatest, not just lead guitar or improv exercises of all time, just one of the greatest guitar exercises of all time, and it will teach you something today that you can use for years. You can increase the complexity of this as you like, you can make it as simple as you like, but it will make you a better guitarist. So today we're going to get you better at lead guitar in general. You're going to learn how to play the modes. You're going to learn the fretboard a lot better. You're going to learn the natural notes of the fretboard. You're going to massively improve your ear. You can practice technique. You can have years of fun. Because it's good for improv, it's good for riff writing. We're playing single note lines here. I'm going to give you some material to practice over that'll keep you going for a long time. Now, this exercise comes from the book The Advancing Guitarist by Mick Goodrick. I think it's kind of almost geared towards jazz players, and it can be a little intimidating towards players of other types of music. It's written in notation. I've tried to make it a little bit more accessible and a little bit easier to practice, but it means you can get going straight away. The main difference is that Mick Goodrick suggests these jazzy backing tracks that we can play over, which I'll link to in the description because there's a very good playlist. But you can play over these with drone notes, okay? And I tend to practice over drone notes more. I find it better for prog, shoegaze, post-rock, a little bit freer. So let's get started. So the C major scale is one of the easiest scales to play in because all the notes are natural. There's no flats or sharps in the C major scale. C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. All right, if you can remember that, then you can play the C major scale. We're going to restrict ourselves, restrictions are good, to playing over a C drone note with just the natural notes of the fretboard. Now, the best way to, the trick here is to remember where all the half steps are. Everything else is a whole step, i.e. 2 frets, but between B and C and E and F are little half steps, okay? If you can remember that, you can solo over a C drone note. Keep yourself to one string, any string you like, then do it for a few minutes, then move to another string, alright? You are now soloing in C major. I'm using a TC Infinite pedal, a little bit of compression, but you can just use a drone on YouTube or one of the backing tracks listed below to make it easier for yourself. All gear is linked in the description. Give it a like and a subscribe while you're down there. It helps me out, alright? Now, a posh name for that is C Ionian, and this is where we get into the modes, alright? So if we change the drone note to any other note in the C major scale, we start to get a modal tonality. The modes being Ionian, which is major, Dorian, which is kind of cool sounding, Phrygian, which people would say is kind of exotic. A good example of that is Black Napkins by Frank Zappa. Lydian, which is kind of beautiful, futuristic, emotional sounding. It's bright, it's almost even happier than major. Mixolydian, heroic, folky. Aeolian, fancy word for minor scale. Sad, intensely emotional, can really get some beautiful lines. Locrian, kind of weird, kind of hard to use. Used in Enter Sandman by Metallica, and Bjork uses it a little bit, I believe. One of the hardest to sound musical, and it doesn't have a perfect fifth in it. It's very diminished sounding. But we've got different flavors that we can practice in now, okay? Using the same notes. We're using the same concept, keeping it to one string at a time, all right? A few minutes on each string, just over a different drone note. Now, bear in mind, a lot of people are going to say to you, now transpose it, now do it in all keys. No, not everything is a transposing exercise. You get good at this in the one key, and you're going to get better at it a lot faster, rather than turning a one little 10-minute exercise into an 8-hour ordeal isn't going to be very good or, sustainable for your practice. Get good at this rather than transposing it into all keys. Once you know where all the natural notes are, the flats and the sharps are easy to remember. Now you can also practice intervals, find out where all the fourths are, find out where the major and minor thirds are. An easy one to practice is the octaves, especially off the A string. Try it over drones, try it over backing tracks. See how complex you can make it. The next step would be to try it over 2 strings. And it's very, very hard to restrict yourself to one string and sound musical. So getting sounding musical only on one string is a challenge in itself. Because we're going up and down one string, it's very good for the ear because we can really start to visualize the distance between notes. Some might call that the interval. And you'll start to notice, when you listen to a song, you might start to think, oh, this is in Lydian. Because I know the sound of Lydian now because I practice it all the time. Now this is where you start to improve your ear a great deal. You start to be able to visualize the distance between notes. You see all the benefits that this one little exercise gives you. Guys, thanks so much to all the Patreons. You really do make this channel run, and I appreciate you being here. But thanks to everyone. If you got to this part in the video, you might as well like and subscribe. It really helps me out. If you want a few other little easy concepts to work on, not too hard, no stress, let's make it accessible. Check out one of these videos around here, alright? See ya.